Since their introduction to the U.S. more than 200 years ago, the ringneck pheasant has become an icon to upland hunters. And there's no better place to chase wild roosters than South Dakota. Here you'll find the motherland of pheasant hunting, an entire culture that revolves around hunting the endless field and sloughs. And here, you'll find one of the best dog training minds to ever put on a blaze cap. An icon in a state of icons. This is heaven for the upland hunter and a good bird dog. This is Wild Upland. If there's anything I love, it's sharing days in the field with my dogs and good friends. And South Dakota is a place where I can find all of those things in abundance. So we are hunting near Webster, South Dakota. South Dakota is an iconic state for pheasant hunting, and it was very convenient for me because I had Tom and Tina Dokken who always invite me up every year.
We're in the lakes area, so ducks and geese and pheasants and turkeys and you name it, fishing, it's all here. We love South Dakota. We love the wide open spaces.
So they invited me up to come hunt pheasants this year, and it worked out timing-wise that my friend Natalie, who is also friends with the Dawkins, was gonna be up here at the same time. So we decided to bring up our young dogs and see if we could find birds. So Tom is a writer for Gun Dog. He is my retrieve columnist. If you want a really well-trained dog, you go to Tom Dokken. I just love Tom for how open he is to discussing dogs and training and just helping educate you. He even helped me with questions that I had about Jones, my pointing dog.
So I initially met the Dawkins by way of Kali, and Tom was super generous. He let me pick his brain because I was thinking about getting a puppy. You know, he kind of just mentioned like, well, when you get your dog, come back next summer. You know, just welcomed me right into their house.
Fortunately, Natalie was able to do her work remotely here, and then we could do some training on a daily basis too. And then to watch him from being a young dog last year, which we, put him through his training with Natalie, which a lot of times that doesn't get to be done. And then watch him this year now, a year later, he's hunting. I mean, ducks, pheasants, and I get a joy out of seeing that, just to see how well they do. And he's matured a lot. You know, last year he was young, and now he's kind of matured into a dog. And then to watch Natalie and Hatchet interact together, you can tell that they're a team now, and that's what you want.
When I got up here, it was just instantly like, we're in good hands. Tom is so even keeled, and he's not pushy on anything. He doesn't just jump in and tell you how to do something with your dog or what to do or this or that. He likes to get a feel for what's going on with Hatchet, what am I doing, how are we interacting, and then he makes observations based on those interactions and then gives his recommendation when you ask him for it.
So Natalie and I started in the hunting industry around the same time. We were both young, and we really hit it off as being friends because we're similar in age and personalities and things that we like to do. And so we met probably 5 or 6 years ago and have just become best friends ever since. We hunt the same way, we enjoy the same things, our families are super close from our ties of being friends. So every year we get together for 1 or 2 hunts, it doesn't matter what it is, could be big game, could be birds. Natalie was not a bird hunter from the beginning, and I forced her to go bird hunting, essentially. And I think that's really where she kind of got interested in it because she saw the dogs work, she saw my dogs work, she saw other dogs work. But she was already very avid about duck hunting, so I was kind of surprised how long it took her to want a bird dog, but it was really cool when she finally got Hatchet. And we hunt together so much and she spends so much time at my house that I got to really watch Hatchet grow from when he was young, and I watched him from when he was a really young pup. And of course, my young setter and young Hatchet really grew up together, and they have a special bond as well.
Jones and Hatchet have a little bit of a bromance, and it's just really funny. Like, they're always excited to see each other when it's been a couple months, but even in the pheasant field, when Kali's like taking Jones over to work on it, you know, to hunt birds and work on his pointing and stuff, and Hatchet and I are over here, and the two of us meet back up. I mean, they run towards each other in the middle of the field like they haven't seen each other in a year. Just like, hey, what's going on? I missed you. Did you miss me? Which is so silly, but they're both just a pair of goofballs and young dogs. On one hand, their bromance is pretty goofy, but on the other hand, they work really well together in the field. They were both on scent, and Jones would point and Hatchet would work cover right in front of him, real birdie, and then Jones would move forward, and they just trailed it together and tag teamed it. And the bird peeled off, and Jones went off and pointed a rooster, and Kali shot his first rooster over him on a beautiful point. And I like that Hatchet helped with that and didn't really screw Jones up at all. It was a team effort. So that's cool. They're not just buddies, but they can hunt together.
So, yeah, you can just kind of do your thing, get out there, and just third telephone pole.
Okay, so I'll go straight and then I'll cut up.
Yeah, just you can go quite a ways and then cut up. Just keep the third pole.
Yeah.
Because then you'll know about where to cut up, okay?
Jones, heel.
Let's go.
So really, different types of dogs work better in different types of covers. Jones is not gonna be your dog who wants to go into the cattail sloughs. They're really thick, it's hard for him to smell, and it's hard for me to see him on point. But the labs, they tend to love to get into that stuff. They're a close working dog. They're perfect for the thick cover like that because they're staying 5 to 10 yards in front of you, and their job is to flush out the game birds. So whenever we were hunting, we tended to send the labs into the thick stuff, and me and Jones took the grasslands where he could work 100 yards in front of me in the grasslands where he really's got good sending opportunity and where he can cast and come back and really nail down birds. So Jones is young, as we all know, and he's still figuring out different types of birds, and he is still figuring out how to work running roosters. And they can be really hard for a young dog because they run so much, and all upland birds run, but roosters are notorious for digging their way through the grass and just either sitting tight or moving as soon as they hear you come. So it's hard for a young setter to figure out that dynamic. How do I get in front of him? How do I stop this bird for my handler? So I came to South Dakota knowing that he had a big learning curve, but I was excited because I was gonna be able to work with Tom, and I was gonna be able to work on this private land to possibly get him a lot of contacts on birds so that maybe he could figure it out. When you are in the presence of someone who is truly world-class in their field, you find yourself soaking in every moment.
Well, I think the dog training passion comes from bringing a young dog in. For the most part, we get dogs in that have very little, you know, as far as any kind of obedience or control or any of the hunting parts there. We see them for the first time when they're 5 months old, and we introduce them to birds and break into the gun. Because then we can say to the owners, we know you have a hunting dog now because he's not gun shy, and we've got that bird drive there. But there's a lot of road ahead. And then taking and going through all the basic obedience and all the retrieving skills for waterfowl dogs, steadying the blind. So it's really gratifying, not just for me, but for our trainers as well. So it's a real gratifying, job. The fact that we can take from nothing to really something, it's special.
Pheasants are a hardy bird. They're big and they're really tough. It is very typical for you to shoot a bird and you think that you fold it and you have it down, but that bird has actually hit the ground and started running. It's actually a huge part of pheasant hunting. And so a lot of times you gotta have, you gotta get your dogs right in on that retrieve because those dogs are running. And there are multiple times on this trip where we hit birds and we walk over to where they were and we see the Labs or Jones in a completely different section of where the bird had fallen because that bird had actually ran on them after they had been hit. See how they run? And you can tell they're running too by how he was on a straight line. So he's following their, their scent.
Did they point?
No, he was trailing it and I could tell, so I was ready. And he's going back and forth trying to find it and he was over here and it flushed to my right.
You saw it go down.
Yeah, he shot. I could tell he was on a bird. I was like, he's gonna find a bird in a minute.
Why don't we let's just skirt this road here,
okay.
And that'll lead us right back to the
cool.
to the ranger and the vehicles. There you go, Kali.
Go get it, Labs. Good boy. Good job, Chase. Thank you.
He's gonna show off for the cameras, basically. Here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chase. You boys were on it, man. South Dakota seems like wide open country, from farm fields and rolling prairies. But this can be rough land for both hunter and dog alike. So the terrain out here can be really hard on dogs, whether we're hunting through corn stalks, milo, the wide open prairie, the cattail sloughs. It can be really, really hard on a dog, whether that's a Lab or even Jones. We had to deal with a few minor injuries this week, which is pretty typical when you're hunting upland birds, honestly. We had Hatchet who had a cut on his eye and his nose is all raw because those Labs, their nose are to the ground constantly when they're hunting upland birds. And so when they're going through those sharp corn stalks and different things, they're gonna get cut up. And so he had a raw nose, his eye was cut up a little bit. And then Jones, I don't know how, honestly, dogs aren't blind. And Tom even said that to me this week because their nose and their eyes are constantly through the thick stuff that they're hunting. And so it's really hard on dogs. You gotta make sure as your handler, you know their limits and you check them over for injuries at the end of the day and make sure that they're okay. As hard as the terrain can be on gun dogs, I had to let my 9-year-old Lab Lincoln have an afternoon afield. Tina Dokken has an older Lab as well. And with Natalie and young Hatchet, we set out for a fun senior night. A chance to watch these seasoned dogs do what they love best. So we're gonna take the senior citizens out this evening and young gun Hatchet. And basically, senior citizens are gonna show them how to hunt. Right, Natalie?
Hope so. Hatchet's going to be in the middle, flushing it for the senior citizens.
There you go.
You won't be able to see her retrieve.
We'll be on the outside just waiting for those pheasants to fly right over, Nat.
He's young, that's what he's here for.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So of course I have my beloved Lincoln with me. He'll be 9 here in about a month. And Tina has her senior dog Sassy, who's 11 and a half. And so we decided one afternoon we'd do a senior run where we took out the dogs and just do a short walk that we felt that they could handle. And of course we took Hatchet with us as well because we kind of called him the freshman of the group and we needed him to do the hard lifting when it came to the tall corn stalk walking. So it was really fun to get the senior dogs out there running, along with the young gun and see them all work together. So it was funny because Natalie and I both are running young dogs. I've got a setter who hunts completely different terrain than her young Lab, but we had a bunch of tall corn stalks and cattail sloughs that we needed to go through, and so we asked her to walk through the corn stalks with her young dog because we knew he could handle it, and we kind of joked with her that, hey, he's the freshman and he's got to do all the hard work for us this week.
He's still young. He's still got a lot to learn. I've noticed that you know, I need to check some of his ranging. Like if left to his own devices, he might go a little bit farther than say, you know, Lincoln or Sky, who do a really good job of quartering nearby, and I need to check him a little bit more. But I mean, he's got all of the instincts, and that's really fun to see that.
I think as a hunter, you go through different transitions, but early on when you start hunting, I was hunting for my dog, and you want to get them as many retrieves as you can, and so you want to get 3 pheasants. You want to get the max on ducks so that they can get retrieves. And I remember my husband saying to me one day, don't you just enjoy going out and walking and taking it all in and not necessarily getting your limit on pheasants? And I said, no, I need to get my limit. My dog needs to get retrieves. And so over time, I'd say in the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, I understand what he's talking about. And the other day, I looked down and it doesn't matter anymore if the dog is getting retrieved, because her tail was wagging the entire time, and she was just standing there watching and taking it in and wagging her tail. She was just happy to be out there. And that's all it is for them. They just want to be outside, they want to be trailing, they want to be smelling, and they don't necessarily care if they get up a hen, but to them, that is fun.
Wild Upland is brought to you by Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. And by Browning, the best there is. Fiocchi, your upland ammo for every pursuit. Onyx, know where you stand. Lucky Duck, loyalty goes both ways.
From the upland fields to the duck blinds, the Dawkins strive to train a complete gun dog and have a great time while doing so.
This morning, it made me so happy to go sit in the duck blind and shoot ducks. And my 1-year-old, it's all about getting her experience, because this is her first year hunting. Sit. Sit. Sit.
Gabby!
So this morning when we took her out, and we always take a young dog out by themselves so that they can have all the success, I was fortunate enough to shoot a big, huge greenhead for her and a pintail. So those were both her first.
I think one of the really special things about staying at the Dawkins and hunting with them is that they welcomed me and my dog into their family, you know, and they didn't really have any reason to. And it's just to be able to hunt with them, to come home late because we were pheasant hunting for dinner, and just have a good time and meet their friends and see what their life is like. It's pretty unique. You know, a lot of people who live out in the country and have great hunting ground and the lifestyle that they do, you know, they could just lock the gate and not let anybody ever show up and share it with them, but they do. So that part is really special, just to, you know, walk in the door, open the fridge, eat whatever I want, get a cup of coffee, sit down, work in their sunroom, and just do my thing. And, you know, they're happy to do theirs, and we hang out when we can. And, you know, everybody's good about hunting together and the teamwork and everything, but also, like, we make fun of each other. And that's part of, like, why Kali and I get along so well, is we give each other a hard time, but we also work well together and hunt well together.
It's all about creating memories and watching your dog work. For me, watching the dog work is my favorite part. I'm just happy to be out there looking at the sunrise, the sunset, whatever the case may be. But now I am taking it in, and now I'm realizing that for both of us, my dog and I, getting out in the field is what it's all about. And every hunt is unique, and being with family and friends. Every time a new person steps into our house, we say, okay, now you're family, and we consider all of you family, and we're so excited to be able to share that with everybody, because this is a unique property, and we want everybody to enjoy it as much as we do.
It's been really cool to be here in South Dakota at Tom and Tina's place. You know, they welcome us like family every year. The camaraderie of just coming together and being at dinner together and talking about the day or talking about dog training or the industry is just super fun. I love being here. I love how open Tom and Tina are, and I love, you know, being out here in the South Dakota prairies and running our dogs on wild roosters, seeing Jones figure it out, seeing Lincoln get his time afield. It's all been super special, and I loved sharing it with not only the Dawkins, but my best friend Natalie, and overall it's just been a really great trip.